AV in your ears, that's Ambush Being, giving you this audio visual down the most interesting street in the world. With my boy Steve, Fascination Street, you already know. Let's get it when you whip in the Fascination Street. What do you...
This is Michael Kostroff, and you're listening to Fascination Street Podcast.
If you walk through the garden.
AV in your ears, that's Ambush Being, giving you this audio visual down the most interesting street in the world. With my boy Steve, Fascination Street, you already know. Let's get it when you whip in the Fascination Street. What do you...
Welcome back, Streetwalkers. This episode is with Michael Kostroff. Michael is an actor who's been in everything. If you're a fan of The Wire, you will know him. If you are a fan of The Blacklist, you will know him. If you have watched the brand new Marvel show on Amazon Prime called Spider Noir, you will know Michael Kostroff. And your kids will know Michael Kostroff, whether it's from the movie Liar Liar with Jim Carrey, or if it's from Sunny with a Chance with Demi Lovato. Everybody knows who this guy is. He's amazing. And as this episode is being released, the run has ended. At the time of the recording of this episode, Michael was toward the end of his Broadway debut in the Broadway run of Dog Day Afternoon with previous guest Spencer Garrett. This was a lifelong dream for Michael to get to perform on Broadway. And so naturally, we talk a little bit about what that was like, how it came to be, how much fun he's having, did it live up to his expectations? And in this episode, we also talk about some of the other things that I mentioned. We talk about working on The Blacklist and The Wire and how that all came to be. Stories from the set of Spider Noir. Even what it was like to play Max Bialystok in several touring productions of The Producers. One of the things that Michael is most known for is teaching. He's a coach. He's a teacher. He helps actors kind of get out of their head and enjoy the audition process. He has a workshop and a book and an audiobook called Audition Psych 101. It was named one of the 100 best acting books of all time by Book Authority. And what this workshop does is teaches or shows actors how to manage their expectations for the audition process, kind of reframe it so that maybe it's not so daunting and so scary, maybe lower the anxiety level a little bit. We talk a lot about some of the things that people can do to get jobs and how much of that is even regimented or scheduled or even matters. How much of it is controllable to the actor. I also do pepper him with questions about being on one of my favorite TV shows, Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip, and what it is like to work on an Aaron Sorkin project. Michael Kostroff is a gem. He is amazing to talk to, as well as to watch on all of the things that we have seen him on, direct from Broadway. This is my conversation with Broadway's very own Michael Kostroff.
Prepare to be fascinated. Prepare to be fascinated. Prepare to be fascinated.
Welcome to Fascination Street Podcast, Michael Kostroff. What's up, dude?
What's up? God, a lot of things lately.
You are not wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Michael Kostroff. You know him from everything you've ever seen, and we're going to talk about some of those things. But first, I just got to say, I have had people on the show who have been on Broadway and who are about to be on Broadway, but I've never actually interviewed someone while they are currently on Broadway.
I'm happy to be your first.
This is amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael is part of, he's in the middle, towards the end of the Broadway run of Dog Day Afternoon. Oh my gosh. With at least one previous guest, which we might talk about later. But, Michael, what I like to do is I like to start from the beginning, man. Where were you born and raised? Where'd you grow up?
Proud to say I was born and raised in New York City. Great place to grow up. Lots of access to the arts and all kinds of people, different kinds of people. I think there's a big advantage to that. I grew up in New York. I have moved back and forth between New York and LA about 72 times, it feels like.
That is a lot of times.
Not quite that many, but yeah, every once in a while I would just get itchy and think, I gotta move, I gotta go someplace else. So I've been back and forth a bunch of times, and I don't know, what else do you want to know? I'm 5'8".
What? You play way bigger.
Definitely.
You read huge on the screen. You loom large, my friend.
I've actually shrunk, believe it or not.
Oh, no.
We don't have to get into that. It's not a medical show, but that's okay.
Actually, it's Medical Corner, ladies and no, just
yeah, I've shrunk.
Hopefully your shrinking is not painful or contagious.
Yeah, that would be bad. Yeah. At least it's not career damaging. That's all I care about.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of your stuff, you're sitting behind a lawyer's desk anyway.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Okay, so we're going to talk about kind of your journey, but I have a couple of questions before you're an actor. Bro, your dad was a producer on the most amazing film ever, War Games?
This is news to me. Are you sure that that's right?
I'm not sure that that's right. And if you don't know...
I don't know. Listen, there are many things I don't know about my family because we're not that close, to be really honest. But I don't think so. Are you looking it up?
I am looking it up just because I'm like...
He might have been. Yeah.
That's nuts. Okay, so let's talk about your parents. Back
in the day, they were beatnik jazz musicians, and then they both went into the film business, and they did various jobs in the film business on the production side. I grew up as a little kid visiting the set, which was pretty cool. Strangely, that was not the art form that called to me. I just wanted to be like a funny musical theater song and dance man, and it just went in a different direction. I ended up doing a lot of TV, and nobody was more surprised than I, except people who've seen my work. I think I benefited from growing up in a family that worked in the arts, although they're on the non-artistic side of it. And they very much discouraged me from pursuing this because they knew firsthand what a long shot it was to make any kind of a living as an actor. So my stubborn calling kind of pushed me through anyway. And I spent a lot of years waiting tables and a lot of years temping and a lot of years doing theater for free and not really working. That's the life I signed on for.
That's wild.
Yeah.
You got me thrown on this your dad thing. What's your dad's name?
My dad's name is Larry Kostroff.
Okay. I'm pretty sure Larry Kostroff was a producer on War Games, but that doesn't matter.
Well, now we know.
Well, we don't know. I mean...
Here's the uncomfortable truth. I'm just going to tell you because it'll make your job easier. I'm estranged from my family and have been for a very long time.
Except for Nina, though, right?
Except for Nina, yes, who's been my boss several times, actually. We weren't the closest of siblings, but we really like working together. She's very good at her job. But she's been my boss. But, she's my big sister, and now she gets to boss me around on the set.
Yeah. It's amazing how those roles, they stick with us, I'm sure she was bossing you around before y'all were working together.
She's my big sister. Of course she was. But she's terrific. She's so good at what she does and kind of fell into, again, she told me once that it wasn't really what she chose. It was kind of the family business, being in production. But man, she's great at it. She's just great at it.
Didn't she win a Peabody? Is that right?
These are the things I should know and don't.
These are the things that editing is for.
So far, it's a pretty lousy interview, isn't it? I'm striking out here. Sorry.
You're coming to me live from Broadway. Come on, man.
Well, okay, that's true. That's true. And maybe the coffee hasn't kicked in yet, but I don't know things I should know.
No, that's quite all right. We're going to move on. Maybe we'll talk about some things that hopefully you do know.
We'll see.
Were you really a writer at Disneyland?
I was. It was one of my favorite jobs ever. Yeah.
They have writers at Disneyland?
People don't know. Everything at Disneyland gets written, including parades. Parades start as a proposal. It's got to be on paper. Somebody's got to read it. Obviously they have the live shows, but Disneyland, they go big on entertainment. So if they're going to open a new store in the park, they'll have a ceremony with the mayor of Disneyland, who's a character. I wrote all kinds of things for them. They did a mall tour that was promoting Bug's Life, and I wrote a show for that. And it was one of my favorite jobs because it was so random, and the stuff that I got to write was really, really fun and weird. And but to go into Disneyland and to go into, in this case, the Golden Horseshoe and watch people watching my show and having a great time, it was a treat. I feel goofy saying it, but it was real goofy, pardon the pun. It was an immensely fun and varied job. I wrote songs for them. I wrote shows for them.
In a job that people don't even know exists, like that one, how do you even know how or where to apply for one? How did you even come across that job?
I did not know to apply for it, and this is a theme in my life, things that I fall sideways into that I didn't know I could do. So I was working at Disneyland. That was my day job. I was doing a show there as a performer.
Please tell me you were wearing a costume.
Of course I was.
Are you allowed to say which one?
I could tell you everything. I was in a show called Aladdin's Oasis, and I was playing a character that they made up for this show called Hassan the Magnificent, who was the world's worst busboy and psychic. And it was a lot of fun. It was so much fun. It was so much fun. I mean, keep in mind, I came from New York, where our support jobs are you sit in an office and temp. or you wait tables. I got to LA and I was like, oh, I could have a support job where I'm performing. I loved it. So I was doing that, and there was a lot of improv involved. And there's a guy who wrote for Disneyland, and he said, you should be one of our writers. I said, oh, I'm not a writer. He goes, I don't care. Hey, you should write for us anyway. I went, okay, but I don't know how to write. I'm not a writer. And then the first thing I turned in, they were like, oh my God, this is great. It's like, oh, that's how I found out I could write.
And that first thing, ladies and gentlemen,
Was
Pixar's Toy Story. No, I'm just kidding.
that was Toy Story. They did a lot of development. So they would try things and then not do it. So they didn't end up doing this show, but they loved it. They wanted something on the pirate ship that goes around the lake. And so I wrote a little show called Pirate Luxury Cruises. That was the exact timing of the boat that went around the lake. And they said, you gave us exactly what we wanted, and we decided not to do it because it's the only quiet place in the park. I said, I agree with you. So that was my first writing assignment for them.
So they asked you to write for a thing that they were like, hey, you know what? This is a bad idea. We want to keep it quiet over here anyway.
Yeah, they did that a lot. They did that a lot.
Well, you got to throw spaghetti at the wall, right?
Well, yeah, like for any new idea, they'd have like 3 different concepts going just to sort of see what was going to develop better. They were good about that. Yeah, and that paid my bills for a while, you know? And from that first guy who told me I could write, I've written 4 books. I was a columnist for Backstage. Writing has become like a really big part of my life that I didn't know I could do.
You learned that you could write while working at Disneyland.
Exactly.
Sounds like a fairy book tale.
It kind of was. It kind of was.
Is there like a whole underground network of people who used to work at Disneyland or Universal Studios or whatever, and they're all like just helping each other in the business? Like I know Paul Feig used to work at Universal Studios, and some of the other people who he worked with or also just happened to work there, it's almost like a fraternity, and they give each other the wink and help each other when they can.
If there's a network of helping each other out, I don't really know about that. I wish I did. But some of the people that I worked with at Disneyland include Stephanie J. Block, who's a big Broadway star, and Leslie Margarita, who's a big Broadway star. I mean, they had really good people working there.
Now you're a big Broadway star.
Well, I don't know that I'm a big Broadway star.
I said it. You can't. It's just a no arguing podcast. You can't.
I'll accept that. I'm a big Broadway star.
Yeah.
I will say that, being on Broadway has been a lifelong dream of mine. And, at 65, I finally am doing my first Broadway show. I wish it hadn't taken this long, but it is really a big deal to me to have that check mark. It's a bucket list item.
Now, you say this is your first Broadway show. You did do a bunch of touring stuff off Broadway. Yes. and with companies. Didn't you do The Producers like 7 times?
Yeah, I did the first national tour of The Producers. Oh man, that was immensely fun. And then I've done 7 regional productions starring as Max Bialystok, which is one of the most exhausting roles you could possibly do in theater. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm done now because I told my wife if I ever mention that again, just go in the kitchen and get a skillet. Come on out and just bong me on the head with it.
Just brain the hell out of me.
I don't need to do any more Max Bialystoks. But so I toured with The Producers. I toured with Les Mis twice, actually, about 10 years apart. 2 different national tours of Les Mis. And those were just incredible, heady experiences. They were really marvelous to be in such iconic shows. And you go out there knowing that you're just going to give people an incredible evening at the theater. So, yeah. And I've done a bunch of regional theater, and I understudied a role on Broadway. I never went on, just sat backstage. I decided not to do that again.
So you got paid for that, right? To understudy?
I got paid, yeah.
So you got paid to be on Broadway, but you didn't appear on Broadway.
Yes, they were actually paying me to not appear.
How heartbreaking was that?
Well, it was and it wasn't. I mean, on the one hand, it was my first Broadway contract, so that was pretty cool. On the other hand, it was like, yeah, this is not really fulfilling to sit backstage and just not be involved at all.
Sure. So how big a part of you, and was it just a little devil on your shoulder that was going to try and make sure that the actor you were understudying had maybe an unfortunate accident?
Not even a little bit. He's an actor that I admire greatly, Louis J. Stadlin, who I understudied in The Producers as well, and he's a mentor. I would never do that to Lou.
Who's a better Max Bialystok, you or Larry David?
Me. Next question. Listen, he did some of the scenes on TV. He couldn't get through the whole show, I promise you.
I bet he couldn't. That is an endurance role.
Oh my God.
Aren't you on stage the whole time? Like for 3 hours, it's just you running around singing, dancing?
Yeah, almost the whole time. Yeah, you have 2 moments that you're off stage, 2 songs that you're off stage for. The rest of the time you're on stage, running around, screaming, singing, yelling, and freaking out. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. You build up a stamina for it. I love it. But my God, it's
I can't imagine. And doing it, what, 6, 7, 8 times a week? No, I'm good.
8 times a week. 8 times a week. Yeah.
Hey, Streetwalkers, here's a word from our sponsors.
Beneath a dead world, humanity's last survivors live in Subterra.
I care about one thing, keeping Subterra's power uninterrupted. If Subterra goes dark, we are doomed.
A buried city of chipped citizens, forgotten miners, and those who have never seen the sun.
You took a big risk coming here.
I didn't have a choice.
Go back home, girl. You'll get killed down here, or worse.
But in the lower levels, the unchipped have become invisible, and invisibility breeds rebellion.
We want justice for our dead!
You will learn to obey.
When a rigged trial ignites the darkness, a blind orphan, a bunker princess, and a rebuilt combat robot are thrown into a fight that could change everything.
Fellow citizens of Subterra, you are here to witness the adjudication of an unchipped bunker orphan known as Ace.
You want me to lie?
I want you to help me clear your name.
By blaming Ace for something he didn't do? He's innocent, and you're gonna kill him.
What I have set in motion will change this place forever. There will be a new order in Subterra, and it will not be kind to people like you.
No. I'm staying here.
Stay here, then. Stay and die.
Because underground, hope doesn't disappear, it survives.
Let the battle begin!
Advance!
Defend your home! Defend your brothers and sisters!
Subterra. Available now. Download wherever you find podcasts.
Let's get back into it.
How and why did you become an advice columnist for Backstage Magazine? Why did you do it?
Oh, because they asked me. And I love actors. I love actors and I love advising them. The how is that the current writer of that column was going away on maternity leave, and she had read my first book, Letters from Backstage, which is about my time on the road. And she asked if I would like to fill in while she was out. And that's how that happened. When she came back, we ended up alternating weeks. Again, another job that I loved because I like to demystify things for actors and also squash mythology and rumors around this work. People have a lot of weird ideas about it.
Now, you say you like to demystify things and squash untruisms. Why? Why do you feel that that's your job?
Oh, this is a really good question. First of all, I think there's a lot of bullshit out there, a lot of bad advice, and a lot of people trying to codify and quantify and make patterns that don't exist in the acting career. You know, the reason that I think it's my job is that I had a very, very difficult time. I was very shy. I was very bad at auditioning. I was very bad at believing in my own work. And it's been a lifelong journey to be the arrogant son of a bitch I am now. No, I'm not. But I want to help actors feel more like they have some authority in their work and also to be armed with logic and accuracy about the career. There's just a lot of people trying to sell bad advice and actors snatching it up because there's a lot of mystery in the profession. It doesn't have a lot of patterns to it. If anybody tells you the best actors are the ones who succeed, that's not true. You know, if anyone tells you, if you believe in yourself, it'll happen, that's not true. There's a lot more that is random and a lot more that is it just is. I mean, actors are always shocked if they have a good year and then the next year they don't work at all. What went wrong? Nothing. That's just show business,
So as an audience member, as a viewer, sometimes we'll see somebody is in just a ton of stuff. Yeah. I mean, in everything. Let's just take, let's say Colin Farrell. 15, 20 years ago, Colin Farrell was in, 9 movies a year. And now you're just like, whatever happened to Colin Farrell? As a viewer, as an audience member, we're just like, wow, he must have really pissed somebody off. But what I'm hearing and what I'm learning the longer I do this is that none of that shit has anything to do with anything.
Nope.
He might have made all those movies in the same week and then he just wasn't busy. Like, stuff happens and it comes and goes. And like you said, there's no rhyme and or reason.
I won't say there's none, but I will say that I think there's a lot less that's calculable than anybody thinks. Look, I booked The Wire. The Wire made me a much more visible actor, and as a result, I have a better career. There are much better actors who are not working, much better than I, and there are actors who are less talented, I think, who are working more. It doesn't operate along rules, and I think that's important for actors to know, otherwise they get terribly disappointed. I'm kind of on for the journey. I don't assume any entitlement. I don't assume anything. The next thing after Dog Day Afternoon is unemployment for me, and that's my norm. That's the norm. I sort of sign on for the whole journey. Yeah, when people start to think, if you do these 12 steps, then you're going to make it. It's like, we don't have that. We just don't have it. Yeah, so it could be pure coincidence that Colin Farrell is not working as much, or it could be that he decided to take a break, or it could be any number of things, but it doesn't mean that he's dead.
He could even be more selective about what he's choosing, right?
Yes.
So you talked about not feeling like you have a sense of entitlement. How important is the attitude of the employee? In this case, we're talking about actors. How important is the attitude of the actor in how well their career progresses, if that makes any sense?
It does.
You'll see somebody or you'll hear stories about people, and then all of a sudden you don't see them working as much, and you kind of put two and two together. But how accurate is that?
I think that part is accurate. I think being agreeable to work with, and I just want to add, when I say agreeable, I don't mean subservient, I don't mean obsequious, I don't mean like you act like a little beggar person who doesn't bother anybody. I mean being pleasant to work with, taking up your own space, but also not being a jerk. Nobody wants to work with jerks. Life's too short. It's not worth it.
Hold on, let me write this down. Nobody wants to... Okay,
no, I wrote a 2-part piece for Backstage once called Jerks Don't Work. That was, I think, one of our most read pieces.
Dude, that's catchy as hell. You need to make that a one-man show.
No, I'm good. I'm good on the one-man show. I'm good.
He said, no,
those are against my religion. I worked with one actress, and no, I won't give you her name, but I directed her, and she is brilliant, and I'll never work with her again because it's not worth it. Nobody's that brilliant. I've worked hard to have a reputation as somebody who's easy to work with, and that's important to me. It eats up time, not to mention people's energy, to work with folks who are difficult.
Plus, it makes it not a fun workplace, and who wants that?
Exactly. We're not curing cancer. We're putting on funny hats and singing a song, so it should be fun. And then there are assholes who work all the time. So, again, I won't claim any patterns.
I will, well, I guess I shouldn't do it because you're a nice guy, but I always name a very specific asshole whenever that comes up, so I won't do it.
You can, unless it's me. Is it me?
It is definitely not you. It is local San Antonio legend and asshole Tommy Lee Jones.
Okay.
I don't like you, Tommy. You're a dick.
You know what? There's no reason to keep it a secret. No reason to keep it a secret.
You talk about the randomness of sometimes getting these roles. What's the most random role you ever got? Is it Banshee?
It's Banshee. Yes, you've done your research. So I had gone in for a role on Banshee, and they said, Michael is not getting this role, but we have a role for him. This was January, and they said, this will be shooting in July. And my agent laughed and said, of what year? I mean, nobody books that far in advance. So we both laughed and let it go. And then, sure enough, June rolls around, and my agent was like, remember that role? I'm like, okay.
You're all, no.
Right, exactly. I'm like, you're kidding. They're actually doing it? She said, yeah. So they offered me this part that is so not anything. First of all, I didn't audition for it. They just wanted to cast me in this role. There was nothing like anything that I do. I played an ex-con. I had long hair, tattoos all over, including my neck and my hands, scars. I was sniffing coke, wrecking a casino.
What were you sniffing coke off of?
A woman's breasts.
Okay.
It was a good day at work.
Tough day.
Tough day at work.
Long, hard day.
Hitting on Amish girls and just all kinds of stuff that I'm like, I don't do this. And I said to the producers, what made you think to cast me? And they went, we don't know. We just thought it'd be fun. I'm like, okay, that is as random as it gets. And I said to my wife, I said, I have no bag of tricks. The best thing about this part, I'm just jumping off a cliff. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And it's not anything that I usually do. And it was the most fun. It was the most fun. I don't get to do stunt fights, and I loved it. It was just so not me.
How would one even hit on an Amish girl?
It was the first scene. I don't remember.
I love that. One of my all-time favorite TV shows was Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. That was one of the most well-written and engaging television shows I've ever seen in my entire life. And, one of the top ones that I was so sad when it didn't keep going. And you also worked on The West Wing. How is it working on a Sorkin show? Like, how is that different from working on, I don't know, The Wire?
When you do an Aaron Sorkin, it is absolutely word for word. You don't paraphrase, you don't ad-lib, which is different from most television. It's acceptable to paraphrase or ad-lib, something that we don't do at all in theater. That's a strict no-no. But in television and film we do. You don't do that on Aaron Sorkin. I feel the same way about David Simon because I think his writing is holy. And so I don't want to change a word of David Simon. I don't know that David's as strict about it as Aaron Sorkin is. Some people might think that's intimidating. To me, that's like, oh, this is the game we're playing. How fun. Here's the challenge. Just like playing this weird character on Banshee. I'm like, okay, in this one, we got to every single word and make every single word work. I'm like, great, that's the game. And of course, I'm honored to be on those shows.
I would imagine working on the Sorkin shows, since you come from a huge background of live theater where you don't change anything, it was probably a pretty good fit for you, right?
Oh, it's a great fit. I can't say that I've had conversations with him, but he seems to like me because I get these offers to just do Sorkin stuff sometimes, which is nice.
How long was it before you started just getting straight offers?
I was in my 40s. I think the first one was for a soap opera.
Hey, a job's a job.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was for Port Charles. I remember because the casting office called and said, so we're looking at this role, and we said, this is kind of a Michael Kostroff role. You know what? Let's just offer it to Michael Kostroff. I went, oh. So that was my first straight offer.
Port Charles, was that a spinoff of General Hospital?
It was a spinoff of General Hospital, yes.
I mean, I don't know those soap operas. I'm a man.
Yeah, I can tell you don't know. Oh, God, I can't remember. I was always in a Hawaiian shirt. I ran some club, some bar. And there was a scene where they were having a birthday party for Lark, whoever the hell Lark is. And Lark, I guess, had a tough year because they were proposing a toast and saying, well, Lark has had a tough year. And I just sort of nodded along because I don't watch these shows. And a friend of mine called me and said, you don't know Lark. Stop nodding. She called me after the episode aired. She's like, you don't know Lark. Do your research.
I love that. She's like, you don't know that he's had a tough year. Calm down.
Stop nodding.
Do I understand this? I mean, I know that you sing in theater productions, but did you sing the opening credits for The Plot Against America?
I did, uncredited, yes. How'd you find that out?
Magic.
Okay.
How did that happen? And why is it uncredited?
I didn't need the credit. It happened because my sister called. She said, okay, so we have the opening credits, and the singer that we had do it wasn't quite right. Do you have time this afternoon? I went, oh, okay. And I went in and sang it.
What if your pipes were rusty?
I don't think I was paid. I don't believe I was paid for that.
Oh, sister.
I don't remember, to be honest. But no, I think I just was helping Nina out because it's.
Yeah, if you're not credited, I'm sure you weren't.
I don't think I was paid, but it's fine. To me, it was just super cool to be singing the opening credits of the show. So much. But they had a song from the 30s, I think it was, and it was fun. It was a fun surprise. We're going to hear about other weird singing gigs that you probably didn't come across in your research.
Oh, so badly.
Okay. So when a singer is going to be like a guest on let's say a Christmas special, and they've got to learn a new song, they have somebody come in to sing the demo so that they can listen to it and learn it.
Kind of like a live reading, right?
Kind of like a guide vocal. So I did a demo for Tony Bennett to sing his part for him on an Amy Grant special. That was pretty cool.
Wow.
And I sang 2 tracks for Billy Joel. He had done these new orchestral arrangements, and he wanted to hear how it would sound when he sang with them, and he didn't want to go into the studio and record it, so I got to do my best Billy Joel for Billy Joel and sing 2 demos. I wish I had those recordings. That was very cool.
Wow, that sounds amazing. How do you not have those recordings?
These are more jobs that people don't know exist.
Yeah, no shit.
Just guide vocals, just for the use of those 2 singers.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I know that this is a little bit of an offshoot, but similarly in the music business, there is a job that people don't know exists where you hire a singer to go sing the song that you wrote or your client wrote to pitch it.
Yeah.
That's a whole thing. Like that person gets paid to sing it to the people that you want to really sing it.
Yeah, just that one time. Exactly. Yeah.
That is so crazy.
Hey, Streetwalkers, here's a word from our sponsors.
Warning. Not listening to Fascination Street podcast may cause unexpected side effects. Side effects may include sudden fits of boredom, irrational curiosity about everything you missed, the inability to name your favorite podcast interview, spontaneous ignorance of obscure celebrity stories, talking to coworkers about nothing because you didn't hear the latest episode. Other symptoms may include excessive use of the phrase, "Wait, what happened?" Chronic seriousness with no trace of laughter or delight, unexplainable urge to scroll aimlessly instead of being entertained. In rare cases, not listening may lead to wandering aimlessly through podcast apps, overexposure to true crime reruns, and thinking you're cooler than you actually are. If you find yourself experiencing any of these symptoms, stop what you're doing immediately and download Fascination Street Podcast. Ask your podcaster if Fascination Street Podcast is right for you. Spoiler alert, it is.
Let's get back into it.
We talked about The Wire. You were on The Wire and the Blacklist with previous guest and one of your dear friends, Deirdre Lovejoy, Dee Dee.
Love her. Yeah.
Tell me about working with Dee Dee, and when you got to work with her on the Blacklist, was it just like old home week? Did you guys hug and be like, "This is the best. I missed you so much"?
Yeah, Dee Dee and I really enjoy each other, especially because we got to go up against each other so much in The Wire. We were, arch enemies, and I just have so much respect for her as a person and an actor. She's terrific, just terrific, and fun to work with. Yes, so I booked this episode of The Blacklist. It was about two doctors who accidentally killed a kid on the operating table. And at the end of the episode, the character that Dee Dee plays gets to kill one of them. And so she said to me, first thing, she's like, "Oh my God, we're working together. Do I get to kill you?" I said, "Sorry, it's the other doctor." She was so excited about getting to kill me.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Speaking of The Wire, last year I had on he was a former assistant district attorney for the great state of Maryland. He's an author and he's a former prosecutor, whatever. He said that the most realistic portrayal of lawyers on television was The Wire.
Oh my God. How tragic.
He was the tragic. He was the assistant district attorney for Maryland, and he said that. How scary.
I am so disappointed by that. Over the years, I've met a lot of lawyers, and they've said, "Oh, I love your character on The Wire." They admire him because he's doing the job that he's supposed to do, which is to win. He's a despicable human being. But I'm going to drop a big name. I hope your floorboards are strong.
Let me hang on to something.
No less than Barack Obama told me that he's like, "Your character would do anything to win." He's telling his Secret Service on the day that I met Barack Obama. But lawyers admire him because he does the job that he's hired to do. I think it's kind of amazing because he's completely unburdened by any kind of ethics or scruples.
Yeah, or conscience. What occasion did you have to meet Barack Obama? Was he the president at the time you met him?
He was not. He was a candidate for president. During the SAG strike, or one of the many SAG strikes, Screen Actors Guild strikes, I guess I was on a list, of supporters or potential volunteers, and they called me and they said, "Can you come to Nevada?" And I said, "Yeah, I can. I don't have any work right now." So I went to Nevada, and this is maybe a longer story than you want, but I'll give it to you anyway.
Go sick.
This is what editing is for. I said, "Okay, I'll come up. I don't want to call anybody at home or knock on any doors. I'll do anything else." They said, "Okay." They all knew that I was on The Wire, and The Wire was Barack Obama's favorite show. So the first day I was doing data entry. I'm like, "Great, fine. And then they said, "Can you do some driving for us?" I said, "Sure, whatever, They said, "Well, you meet this guy tomorrow at Caesar's Palace. He'll tell you where you're going." I'm like, "Okay, great." So I meet this guy. We're driving. And I said, "Where are we going?" He goes to a little airport. And about 5 minutes goes by. And I went, "Are we meeting Barack Obama's plane?" He went, "Yeah." I went, "Oh, okay." So my job was to follow around Barack Obama all day as he made speeches, wait 5 minutes after they left, and then go to the next place in case they forgot anything. That was the whole job.
Oh, so you're just waiting around 5 minutes in case you get a phone call that says, "Hey, we forgot this and that"?
No, I'm actually following. I have their itinerary. I'm actually following to the next location. So the plane lands early. So I've got to wait. I'm waiting in the parking lot, and I decided to go get a sandwich. And on the way out, one of his Secret Service gestures to me and said, "He wants to say hi." I was like, so I put my sandwich down on the floor because I didn't want to meet him with a sandwich in my hand. And he comes out and he goes, "I love your show." And I said to myself, "Don't say I love your show. He doesn't have a show." It was amazing meeting him one-on-one like that.
I need to know the most important detail that you left out.
Yeah.
What kind of sandwich was it?
It was a turkey club sandwich.
Nice. Now I'm hungry.
Luckily in a styrofoam container.
Oh, thank goodness. Yeah.
So I was able to eat it after with shaking hands. Yeah, it was kind of amazing to get to meet him. And he's a big Wire fan, so he clearly has excellent taste.
Sure, yeah. The best show that ever made it onto television. I love it so much. You have self-appointed your previous self as like the worst auditioner.
Yeah.
You're a horrendous auditioner.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I was very insecure, very shy, and I had a very difficult time presenting myself in any way. I was such a shy kid that going into a store and asking for something freaked me out. I know that's hard to believe because I love talking to people now, but I was I really had big issues around this. And I would walk into an audition and I would be afraid they were going to yell at me and send me away or something. And so I was terrible at it. Without realizing it over the years, because I knew I was an actor and that's what I wanted to do, I started to sort of solve this puzzle little by little by little by looking at it and going, okay, what is it exactly that I'm scared of? And how likely is that? And again, this is what I mean about pulling apart the mythology. Okay, you think they're going to yell at you. How likely is that? Oh, that's not that likely. And little by little, I whittled down the things that were making me freaked out. The biggest revelation along the way was realizing that this whole idea that you can make somebody hire you is not logical. It doesn't stand up. And so many actors are trying to crack the code of how do I get them to cast me? So of course they're nervous because they're trying to do something that nobody can do. I can't guess how to make them cast me. And again, it's another thing that somebody sort of pushed me into that I didn't know I could do. A friend finally said, you should teach this stuff. And I said, what are you talking about? This is the quote. She goes, idiot. Every time I have an audition, you give me some gold that saves my ass. I'm like, I do? And that became a class called Audition Psych 101 that I've taught now all over the country and as an online course and as a book that I am grateful to say, and I'm humbled to say, many actors are like, that changed my whole life because it pulls apart a lot of this mythology that makes us nervous and sort of reframes this whole audition experience in a way that there's no reason it can't be enjoyable and fun and not terrifying and not an evaluation of your talent and not a judgment. And so that's become a big part of my life's work.
You said yourself that you struggled with the audition process and that you were super nervous and kind of insecure, coupled with the fact that you didn't really gain any noticeable traction until your mid-30s. Why didn't you quit? Why didn't you give up?
Thank you for that great question. For me, this has always been a calling and there wasn't an alternative. I decided that just pursuing acting, if that's all I got, was still going to be the right path for me because it's just my DNA. It's just what I'm supposed to do, what I need to do. So, if I only got to work for free, as an actor, I would do it. If I only got to audition, I would do it because it's just something that I feel like to not do that would be to not be me. So that's what kept me going. I've never had very high expectations. Everything in my career has exceeded what I expected would happen. I figured I'd just be an unemployed actor for my whole life.
Well, now you're only an unemployed actor for half of your life, right?
Yeah. Well, probably more than that. Yeah.
Tell me about that thing that you call the negative positive.
Oh, I'm rather anti-positive thinking. There's been this trend towards people saying, well, if I can speak it into existence, if I say I'm going to get a part, I'm going to get it. If I imagine myself on the set, I'm going to get it. And I think this idea of manifesting and positive thinking when it comes to a decision that somebody else is going to make, like hiring you, is very self-defeating. It leads to a lot of disappointment and a lot of frustration because it's not how it works. You can't make somebody hire you, period. I feel more positive from accepting the negatives, if that makes sense. The short way of putting it is I'm a New Yorker. It's like, just tell me how long the train is going to be. Just let me know now. I want to know how long it's going to be. And then I'll be like, okay, I'm going to be waiting for an hour and a half. Don't lie to me and say it's going to be here in 20 minutes. It's kind of like that. It's like, how bad is it, Doc? Just tell me. And so I find that it's more positive for me to go, for example, I only have an audition. I don't have a callback. I don't have a job. I can't make any of that happen. Let me have the joy and pleasure and fulfillment of this moment of getting to play a character rather than trying to make it into something else. I have a much better time in my life because of that, what some people would call negative thinking. I have low expectations. I assume I'm not getting each job, and that makes the process more fun for me. Does that make any sense at all?
100%.
Okay.
Absolutely. If you reframe things, it sits in a better place in your psyche.
That's why I call it a negative positive, because it's not really negative. It's just more realistic, and that puts me in a more positive frame of mind.
As I mentioned earlier, you are toward the end of your run on Broadway with Dog Day Afternoon with previous guest Spencer Garrett. How did you come to be part of this show, and did actually performing on Broadway meet all of your expectations?
How much time have you got?
I got the rest of my life.
The process was not an unusual one. My agents called and said, you have an appointment to audition for this show. And so I went in and I auditioned.
At the time, did you know it was going to be on Broadway?
Yes, it was set up as a Broadway show. And then they said, you have a callback. They want to see you again. So I went back in. And in my typical philosophy, I went, okay, so that's not happening. Let me move on with my life. And then I got a call like 3 weeks before they started and said, you're doing Dog Day Afternoon. It's very exciting. Has it fulfilled all my expectations? It's a very complicated question. I'm in the mood to be very candid with you. It's been a very challenging process, this one. It's been fraught with some drama and some difficulty and some fighting factions.
Is that typical?
I hope not. I don't find that it is. However, for me, the feeling of having been on Broadway is absolutely as fulfilling as I thought it would be. Before this, I felt like there was something wrong with me. I wanted so much to have a credit as a Broadway performer, and that means the world to me. It's sort of the last big bucket list item for me. And I feel, yes, a great sense of accomplishment and pride just going, I originated a role in a Broadway play. And so, yeah, that's been every bit as wonderful and as meaningful to me. Things are complicated. Some things are many things at once. It's wonderful, and it's also very challenging, this particular one.
Interesting. Would you do it again?
This play, never, but a Broadway show, 100%.
So when you say this play never, do you mean repeating exactly everything about this play, or
correct
the material in general? Not the material. Okay, cool. Moving on.
Sorry to say,
I got you.
Bad memories. I'm just going to be honest. Bad memories, and I think I would look to avoid anything that reminded me of this particular production. I know that's unusually blunt, but I think it's good for people to know that sometimes all those things go in the same package, because at the same time, audience members are having a great time. That's amazing. Every time I get out of the stage door, there are just all these people waiting for autographs. They're saying they had the time of their life. It's their favorite thing they've seen on Broadway. They're coming multiple times. So that's not nothing either. That's wonderful. But I would hope to not have an experience like this again.
Gotcha. Well, I hope that you don't.
Thank you.
I hope you break both of your legs on Broadway. I don't know how it's supposed to
whatever. I'll take it.
What does it mean to, quote, cast to a person's essence? I know that sometimes you are in a role where you're on the other side of the table and you're part of the casting process for a project. What does it mean when you're casting someone's essence?
So one of the things that I try to teach to encourage actors is we get obsessed with exactly how to read the lines and exactly how to try to get it right. I think what we don't realize is a lot of what we bring into an audition is who we are, what we sound like, what our vibe is. Very often is just, okay, that is the kind of person that I saw in this role. And those are things we get for free. You know, my particular kind of voice, my particular lack of hairline, my particular weight. I don't work for those things. That's just what they are. And so to take some of the pressure off the audition process, I try to explain to people that a lot of what they're looking at is your essence. Who are you? What do you sound like? You know, so it's not always about effort and getting it right and nailing it and all that stuff that builds pressure. It's just very often that seems like the character to me. When you're on the other side of the table, it's like, yeah, that seems like the character to me.
Hey, Streetwalkers, here's a word from our sponsors.
Hey, Streetwalkers. Now there's an official Fascination Street podcast Patreon. The episodes are just as deep, but a whole lot more fascinating. On the Fascination Street Patreon, we're keeping it simple. There is only one tier. No confusion, no levels, no upsells, just one way in. For $5 a month, you'll get every episode ad-free. No interruptions, no distractions, which gives you a more direct connection to the show. And also, there's a place to hang out with fellow streetwalkers and be part of the community on Patreon. If you love the stories, the conversations, and the vibe of Fascination Street podcast, this is the best way to support it and get even more out of it. No tiers, no ads, just $5 and you're in. Welcome to the inner circle. $5, no ads. That's it. Patreon.com/Fascination Street podcast.
Let's get back into it.
Do you have any tips on how to become memorable to a casting director, or should you?
I think it's the wrong goal. I think when we are acting, the goal should be to bring life to that character, to be truthful. This is such an obvious thing to say, but it was a profound shift for me. Instead of trying to get a job or be memorable or get it right or have a casting director like me, I embrace the character's goal, which is I've got to win this case. Or I've got to, get this woman to go out with me. Or I've got to find out what happened to my sandals.
I've got to get all of the cocaine off of this lady's boobies.
I've got to get all of it. I don't want to leave any behind. When I audition and I embrace, that's what I got to do. I got to figure out what the fuck happened to my case that went south. That's what I'm doing instead of going, let me impress these casting directors and be memorable and win the room. And blah, 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 blah. It's too hard. It's too much work. You're stabbing in the dark trying to do the unknown instead of going, well, what I do know that is in this scene, I've got to figure out if this suspect is telling me the truth or not. And if I just do that, it's more fun for me and more successful. I don't know how to be memorable. I don't know how to, it's a hard task. I don't think it's the right task.
It's a good answer.
Thanks. I thought of it all by myself.
Oh, congratulations.
Thanks. I'm proud of myself.
It's all that coffee. That coffee kicked in finally.
Listen.
How do you focus or prepare for a last-minute audition differently than you do for an audition you have plenty of time for?
I'll say what I don't do. I don't panic. I don't decide that I've been victimized and picked on by the casting people, which a lot of actors do. They're like, how can they do this to me? And the answer is because they didn't have a choice that came in last minute. I try to just be methodical and look at it and calmly figure out what's going on. Because the panic and the resentment and all that other stuff gets in the way of doing the actual work. And I think accepting the fact that I only have the time that I have, fretting about it doesn't give me any more time. The other thing, I'm giving you a lot of answer to this one little question, but it's something that actors do worry about. There isn't a necessary correlation between the amount of preparation time and the result. We think, if I have more time to prepare, I'll do a better audition. Those things don't line up. Again, these patterns don't exist. Sometimes your best audition, you're hungover, you had no time, and you didn't look at it. And you might kill it. You might do a great job, And so I think how I prepare for an audition with not much notice is to detach all the ideas about that I've attached to it, which is that like it's going to sabotage me or ruin me or something. It's like, okay, well, I'll give them what I got. That's what I got.
On that note, sometimes when there is a last-minute audition, the actor will feel the need to let the room know, hey, I just found this out. This was the last minute. Please forgive me. Why do you feel it's important to take care of the casting director in that situation? Like, not throw him under the bus with an, I'm sorry, this is a last-minute audition.
Right. The way I put it is that I'm the doctor. They're the patient. They need an actor who can do this, and they only have a little bit of time. They got it last minute. They need somebody to come in and say, okay, look, this is my take on it. Let me see if I can help you out here. They don't need a doctor coming in and saying, I just found out that I had this patient appointment today. If my diagnosis isn't accurate, sorry, but I just got this. Nobody needs to hear that. They've got problems of their own. So I've done a 180 in my brain about who's doing the taking care of and who's not. Casting people don't want to have to take care of actors. They need actors to take care of them. Rescue me. I just got this thing last minute. Can anybody do this for me? And you want the guy who comes in and goes, oh, yeah, I can do it.
Yeah, I feel like in a relationship like that, you're both trying to help each other. And if you show an unwillingness to help that other person, they're going to show an unwillingness to fucking call you back for other shit.
Yeah, they've got problems of their own. I mean, a lot of actors think that casting directors are tasked with being therapists or coaches to actors. They've got other pressures. They don't need you to come in with your neediness and your nerves and your need for a job. None of that's their problem.
I have heard people describe in a very unflattering way that a casting director is a glorified appointment secretary. Tell me how untrue that is.
I think that's a very ugly characterization.
It's so demeaning.
It's demeaning. And it's also born out of a misplaced resentment that actors have invented. They have it in their minds that casting directors are the enemy. And they're not. I mean, most casting directors who I know, and I'm friends with a number of them, really, really dig actors. They really love actors. To call them glorified gatekeepers, it's so insulting because it's an art form. It's like putting together a mosaic, especially because they have a lot of people talking to them about what they want. They've got the writer, the producer, the director, the script, all these things, and they have to sort of put all that together and be diplomats and be, a lot of other things, but also be painters. They come in and they go, let me bring in this person who sort of fits this color. Let me bring in this person who fits in this color. And a lot of casting directors I know will say, and then I'll bring in the sort of random weird choice that's nothing like what they were looking for. And sometimes they cast that person. They're mixing and matching, and it's much more creative than that. Much more creative than that.
I love it. Thank you.
Yeah.
You are on Spider Noir, which you can currently see on Amazon. Was it also on MGM or something?
They ran it live on MGM, and that was it. So it's Prime. It's Amazon Prime.
Okay, so it's an Amazon Prime show. You are on Spider Noir, which is I believe it's Nick Cage at the helm.
It is.
And previous guest, Randy Oglesby. He plays chief of police or whatever.
Oh, he's great. He's great.
I know it's not in the MCU, I guess, but how is it working on a Marvel project? Is this your first Marvel project?
No, I did a role on Luke Cage.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
I did a role on another one that I can't tell you about because it's not out yet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but this was one of my favorite jobs ever. It is very rare that the high-profile, sexy, lucrative job is also the fun one that's also artistically satisfying, and everybody's nice. This was that job. Everybody was just delightful.
Oh, you said lucrative.
Yeah.
Good. With all of these streaming services, you hear that pay has just gone in the toilet, which is why everybody has to work all the time doing everything. So it's good to hear that this particular show might not fit that mold.
I think part of it also is what you call lucrative.
Sort of like how you sort of clarified successful earlier.
Yeah, exactly. These are important questions. What do we call success? Because actors are very good at negating whatever they've accomplished. Like I could say, well, yeah, I was a series regular on The Wire, but it wasn't one of the main series regulars. You know, you could always find a reason to be ungrateful. I will tell you that scale, the minimum, the union minimums, are a better paycheck than most people make. It's just that we go a long time between jobs. But, you know, let's not complain about a decent paycheck. So what some people might call meh, I think is lucrative. I think that what I get paid on Broadway is lucrative. I think it's the minimums are not nothing. This was not the minimum. I was,
sure,
you know, Spider Noir. But yes, I would call it lucrative. I was employed for a bunch of months and at what I think is a decent wage.
Did you have a good time? Was it fun?
So much fun. Everybody in every department was a nerd for what they did. The costumer would go, Michael, look at this thing. I painted this color just to make it match. You know, the buttons I painted, you know, oh, I found this thing from this picture and I'm going to get this. They took glee in selecting the right cane for me, you know, and the right glasses. And, you know, the prop person was like, these glasses are actually from the 30s. And everybody was into their stuff, so into their stuff. The cinematographer was such a freak for the noir style. And they did all these crazy, weird angles and darkness and shadows. And so there was so much art in it. And I love my part on it. I am the mayor of New York City, which is pretty great. And I think the show is great. I think it's a work of art. It's beautiful.
So have you watched the whole thing?
I have.
Did you watch it in black and white or in color?
I watched it in black and white. And as I've spoken to many, many, many people, most of them watched it in black and white. I will go back and watch it in color because I'm curious about that. It's beautiful in black and white because it looks like an old noir film.
Without spoiling the ending, if possible, is there a chance that will come back for a second season? Did they set it up for a comeback?
Well, we're certainly set up for a comeback. I don't know. Okay. I don't have any idea if we'll get a second season, but I think it's crazy if we don't because it's a very successful show and people are loving it.
How was it to work with Nick Cage?
Fun.
Yeah.
Fun. I always say he's full of Nick thoughts.
From Luke Cage to Nick Cage, this guy.
There's the autobiography. I like him because, you know, he is, of course, quirky. I asked him what he was watching on TV, and he said, I haven't watched anything since Rod Serling went off the air. I went, okay, so okay, let's explore that, you know. And I said, so you haven't watched my show, The Wire? He went, no. I said, yeah, I have to report that. Do you know that, Nick? And he laughed.
You can get kicked out of the union for that.
I mean, my God, you've never seen The Wire. And again, I don't know if he was putting me on or whatever. I liked very much working with him. And of course, the on-screen interaction is fantastic. I think this is one of my favorite things he's ever done, though, and that's a high bar because he's a terrific actor, but it's good.
I love it.
Yeah.
You have written so many books.
Yes.
I don't even know how many books you've written, but the most important one, I think, currently is you wrote the book version of your 4-hour workshop on the psychology of auditioning. It's called Psych 101, is that right?
Audition Psych 101.
What made you decide to turn that into a book?
Not everybody can get to the class. I don't have as much opportunities to teach the class. There is an online class. Honestly, it's more expensive. And so I just wanted it to be accessible to everybody. In case anybody decides to get the book, I'm just going to plug this in. The audiobook is better. And here's why. When I wrote the first book, we weren't doing self-tapes as auditions. And so when I went to do the audiobook, a friend of mine said, it's your book. You can expand on it all you want. I went, great. So I just added all the stuff about the psychology behind the self-tape audition. So there's more to it. I recommend the audiobook rather than the paperback.
And FYI, Book Authority has named that book one of the 100 best acting books of all time.
I did not know that. That's amazing.
Congratulations.
That's amazing. The other one that's been immensely successful is the Stage Actor's Handbook. I will tell you that writing a book is a lot of work and not a lot of money. It's something you do for love. And when I discovered there was not a handbook to teach stage actors about our protocols, our traditions, the etiquette, the certain way that we work together, I thought, well, I have to write it. And it filled a gap because it didn't exist. And now it's being taught in universities and it's, selling out at the drama bookshop here in New York. They always are running out of copies because it just didn't exist. And it's everything about what to expect and how to behave when working in theater, plus a bunch of contributions from people like Chita Rivera and B.B. Newirth and Patrick Stewart, who wrote stuff for our book. That list is long. Jason Alexander, Billy Porter, they all said, yes, we've got stuff to say for this book. And it was amazing. So it's selling like crazy. I'm just glad that it exists. It's part of the legacy,
Do you sneak into bookstores sometimes and just grab them off the shelf and sign them and put them back?
No, I asked them if they'd like them signed, and they always say yes.
20 years ago, you wrote a book called Letters from Backstage, The Adventures of a Touring Actor. I believe that was through Allworth Press back in 2005.
Wow.
If you can believe it.
Remember that?
What made you write that book? Why Letters from Backstage? And what is the premise behind this book?
Okay, so another accident. When I booked the producer's tour, it was another one of those dream come true jobs, and I wanted to bring my friends with me. So every time we had a tour stop, I would send them what amounted to sort of a short story about the town, the mood of the cast, the mishaps that happened in the show, just the experience of being on a national tour for the first time, the hotels, the weird people we met. People started sharing these emails and saying, oh, my cousin loves reading your email. I'm like, I was just saying it to my little friends list. And people said, you should make this a book. I was like, nobody wants to read this shit. And so just to shut my friends up, I sent in a proposal. And then Allworth Press said, we want to do your book. I was like, oh, okay. It is a behind-the-scenes kind of experiential bird's-eye view of what it's like to be on tour with a Broadway show. Then right after that, I booked Les Mis, and so it's got life on the road with both of those shows, including, we played a couple of theaters that were haunted, and things went wrong in Les Mis when we played the haunted theaters, and what it was like to understudy, Max Bialystok and all this stuff. So it's the experience of being on tour.
Love it. How many books have you written total? Do you even know?
I do know. I've written 4 books total. One of them is it's a textbook that's for theater students that's based on the advice column that I wrote with Jackie Apodaca, the fellow columnist. She's a professor, and so we wrote that together so she could publish.
Oh, nice.
It was only sold as a textbook.
Those are the most expensive books in the country.
That's true.
We're going to head out here, but before I let you go, Michael, is there anything that we didn't talk about or I didn't ask you about specifically that you wanted to talk about today?
Not that I can think of. No.
Okay, well, how about you tell everybody where they can go to find out more about Audition Psych 101 and when you're going to do classes and where they can get both the Dead Tree and the audiobook.
So if you go to auditionpsych101.com.
Is it 101 the numbers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, 101. It'll have access to the online class. It'll have where you can get my various books, how you can reach me, booking me for coaching, all that stuff. That's all on auditionpsych101.com.
Do you teach coaching differently for in the room versus on camera?
No, I think they are very much the same. You're playing the character in the situation rather than trying to get a part.
Love it. Where can people go to find more about you on social media and follow your exploits?
Okay, I'm on Instagram as Michael_Kostroff. There's also an Instagram for the Stage Actors Handbook.
Oh.
And I'm on X as @TheRealKostroff. The reason it's The Real Kostroff is because somebody tried to impersonate me on socials.
I love that so much for you.
Yes, I know. Sign of success.
Yeah, well, there's so many different versions of success, right?
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Michael Kostroff. Oh my gosh. Dude, I have enjoyed watching you in all of the things.
Thanks.
One of my son's favorite movies growing up was Liar, Liar. And when I sent him your picture and told him I was going to talk to you, he freaked out. My daughter, she loved you on Sunny with a Chance. So, you're a family favorite over here. Obviously, The Wire, the best show that's ever been made. You're the bee's knees, man. And it was such a pleasure to talk to you.
Oh, thanks.
If you have a chance, Spencer, tell him I said hi.
He's my dressing room mate.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, he's the best.
I love that guy. He is the absolute best. Did you know that his mom was the director of the Screen Actors Guild or whatever?
He tells me every day, every damn day.
That's so funny.
No, I love Spencer. He's great.
He's good stuff. Well, Michael, dude, thank you again so much for taking the time out of your busy day and your hectic on Broadway schedule to hang out and let us get to know you a little bit on Fascination Street, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks. It's my pleasure. Absolutely. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, dude, this is a dream. And you know what? I don't think I said it. Hey, man, congratulations for meeting your lifelong goal of being an actor on Broadway.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love that for you. That is so cool.
Thanks, man.
It's Spencer's first time on Broadway too, right?
It is.
Is that why they roomed you all together? Rookies?
No, there are 13 of us making our debut. 13 people in the cast.
All right, cool. Well, again, Michael, have a great rest of your week, and I really, really appreciate you.
I see.
But thank you, dude. I appreciate it. If there's ever anything I can do for you, holler at a fat kid. I'll promote anything you want, whatever.
Thanks, man.
Thank you so much, man.
All right. Talk to you later. Thanks.
Bye, buddy.
Opening music is from the song FSP Theme, written, performed, and provided by Ambush Vin. Closing music is from the song Kosh, written, performed, and provided with the blessings of Kosh Mojo himself. If you like the show, tell a friend. Subscribe and rate and review the show wherever you listen to podcasts. All episodes are available ad-free at patreon.com/Fascination Street Podcast. And don't forget to follow the show on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, and TikTok. And again, thanks for listening.